back one more again. Just giving you a little recap of the trip to Egypt. First of all, though, I want to say thank you, much appreciation, gratitude to everybody who's been showing love, supporting the videos so far. Everybody who's been rocking with me, liking them, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all of that. Especially to the y'all out there who've been liking it as soon as I posted. I've been peeping some of y'all like with no hesitation. So much love, much gratitude, man. And we coming up on 500 subscribers if it keep moving at this pace. So maybe I'll do like a giveaway or something. I'm not really sure yet, but maybe like I might give away some melanin merch. Maybe pop up on you and smoke one. I don't know yet. Y'all tell me if you got any ideas in the comments. But I want to remind you too, this is my first time doing any of this. But I think the first series was successful, traveling to Egypt. But bear with me, since I'm learning as I go. All of this is new for me, man. So again, y'all feel free to leave any suggestions or comments on what I can do to improve. But already, I'm gonna definitely work on the sound as far as when I'm outside, cutting down the wind, the camera angles. I'm gonna post the prices from now on too. I started doing it a few episodes in, but that's gonna be a regular thing from now on because you gotta know how much you're gonna be spending out here. So I'm gonna also start off each new country, explaining the exchange rates, the documents that you might need, like visas or whatever, and any shots if necessary. Speaking of that, for Egypt in particular, the exchange rate when I went, because we went in November 2022, it was 24 Egyptian pounds for $1. So it might change, it'll fluctuate, you should check whenever it's time for you to go. But the visa for Egypt cost $25, so it wasn't too crazy compared to some other countries. And you didn't need any shots, there was no shots required. I'm on my 6th trip to Africa, still ain't got no shots yet, never been sick. Now I'm not advising that for anybody, depending on where you go. Like every country is different in Africa. So you might need them. Like when I go to Nigeria, God willing, or Ghana, I'm gonna need the yellow fever shot. But Ethiopia, Tanzania, Egypt, you don't need any shots. So basically, I'm gonna give you a little recap of the trip real fast. First of all, it was a lot of ups and downs. This was one of the downs. Anybody knows what this is. This is a drone. I took it out there to get some aerial shots, and it crashed like 10 seconds after I lifted off, man. It smacked into the wall. So I was lucky to get it back because that turned into a whole thing. I had to have a meeting with 4 security guards telling me it's illegal to even have a drone in Egypt. So they ended up finally giving it back. But yeah, that was one of the downs. I got attacked by a pack of dogs. Got bit on the thigh. I'm alright, but so it was a little, some rough patches. But overall, it was a real good trip. I'll just go through a little rating. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give it a grade because as far as the things that I saw, it was really dope. Like the monuments, the activities. I didn't get to see the monuments in Aswan because I didn't get to go there. And that's really where, if I go back, I would love to go because that's where the Nubians, the original black Egyptians, are all in Aswan. So the monuments out there, the people out there, and I missed King Tut's tomb because I didn't know I needed an extra ticket. So I would go back for that. Otherwise, you would know from my grade. So as far as the food in Egypt, I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. I didn't have anything that was like spectacular to me. Now I'm grateful because they did have some veggie options. Like they did have full kosher and a lot of falafel. I was surviving on falafel out there. So as far as just having options, I was happy, but to be real, none of it was fire, you know what I'm saying? Especially with what I'm used to. I'm used to falafel with tahini, hummus, some kind of sauce on it. Every one I had out there was dry. So, and then they did have some different options as far as like Indian food and other cuisines, but it was mostly available when I was hanging with the tourists, like at the Hilton. But as far as the local food, it wasn't a lot of options like that, man. And the options I had it didn't impress me. So a 7 for the food. I give an 8 for the weather. Again, we went in November when it's kind of cool out there, so it was never super hot. Except the one day I went to Luxor, it got kind of warm, but it was just nice most of the trip. So I recommend November. I give it an 8. The people, I would give a 7, man. Like, I met a lot of good people, nice, helpful people out there. But it was definitely a few people I ran into that was trying to, you know, tax you, charge you a little bit more because you ain't from there. Even some of the street dudes I met outside the hotel, like, they was cool, but certain conversations I had, I was like, these ain't my type of, you know. But anyway, I have to give a 7 overall. Mostly nice people, welcoming people, but everybody wasn't cool, you know what I'm saying? As far as the price, I give it an 8. Pretty much everything was cheap once you got there. Even, honestly, like the times I ate in the restaurants in the Hilton with the group, that was pretty cheap too. So even the nicer establishments wasn't really taxing you super hard. So it was pretty decent. Give it an 8 out of 10. Infrastructure, I would give an 8. Now, the Wi-Fi, the plumbing, the roads, it was pretty much up to par. My main issue is, and this is gonna be my issue with a lot of the countries I think I'm gonna go to in Africa, it's the whole prepaid system, man. Like when it comes to your phone and when it comes to electricity. So in Egypt in particular, I saw that at my hotel in Luxor when I spent the night. The person who rented me the room, when I told him I was gonna stay and pay them, he had to go outside and buy a card, bring the card back and stick it in the wall in what looked like a circuit breaker basically. And that's how my electricity came on. So just that whole system of, you know, you gotta pay first and it's gonna run out and you don't know when, and then you just gotta go outside and recharge it. It's just inconvenient, man, and I know Africa could do much better at the end of the day. Like, even with the phone system, it's the same thing with the prepaid. They still on minutes and paying for text packages like that. It's not a lot of options of, well, I haven't seen any options of unlimited everything for the month. It's just like, you pay as you go. So all of that needs to be updated. I'm not really feeling that. But overall, like I say, it was pretty much all of the other amenities that you need or you're used to from over here in America. The last thing I'm gonna grade is the activities. Now the activities, I'm gonna give a 9. Honestly, the only reason I'm not gonna give it a 10 is because it was a lot of hassle at a lot of the places, man. It would be literally 3 different security checkpoints you gotta go through just to see the monuments and stuff. And again, from my conversation with Manish, I understand the need for security because they did have an issue there, the Luxor massacre some years ago. But it still was just overkill, man, and it kind of make you a little uncomfortable. So I still would give it a 9 because at the end of the day, it was incredible, you know what I'm saying? And just to see all these different black faces on the wall, like literally black, brown, yellow, and red, that's all you see, and all the tombs and all the temples. So that was worth the whole trip by itself. And it's a whole lot to do, a lot more than you can probably do in a week or two at the end of the day. So I'm gonna give it a high score. Only reason I'm not gonna give it a 10 is the hassle they put you through. And honestly, man, because it ain't Africans running it, to keep it a buck. It is black history, so I would prefer if it was black folks making the most profit off of it. But since it ain't, you lose a point. But it's still 9 out of 10. So overall, Egypt will get a score of 7, 8 from me, man. That's still pretty good. I will go back to see the things that I didn't get to see, but I don't think I can see myself living there with the traffic, the honking, the fact that you gotta leave out of the main city to see most of the Africans living there, the fact that it ain't Africans running the country at this time, like, you know, and then the food, honestly, but I did have a good time. And like I said, I go back just to see the things that I miss. So that's about it. I want to give a shout out to everybody out there, the whole Chicago group, especially shout out to the Chicago girls. I mean, the 2 birthday girls. Shout out to Manish, my homie from Canada, the ladies in the airport I met in Luxor, Mahmoud, Ehab, everybody out there, man, who is showing love. And like I say, I'm gone. I'll see y'all at the next trip in Tanzania in a minute. What's good, y'all? I'm in the airport waiting on my flight back to Cairo, and I met 2 beautiful queens from the States. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves. What's your name?
Hey y'all, I'm CC. I'm from the D, the 313.
CC from the D. Alright.
Hey y'all, my name is Jamaica, and I'm from Roanoke, Virginia.
Jamaica from Virginia.
Yeah.
These sisters out here working on, you said, environmental climate change. So they doing God's work out here in the motherland. So we just been in a real interesting conversation for the last probably 30 minutes at least, talking about all types of things that got to relate with Africa. And I just wanted to document, I love meeting people like this while I'm out here, people from the States who taking advantage of their opportunity to travel and see the motherland, you know, because like we was just saying, enough of us don't get out here to see it ourselves. So you said you felt at home out here?
I definitely felt at home. Around it, peaceful. The country is beautiful. Every part of it. We can go see the historic ruins. There's historic ruins throughout all the country, throughout the entire country. And I really felt connected with this group of
Hatshepsut.
Was a queen in Egypt, a pharaoh of Egypt. And during her time, during her reign, there were no wars. She established international trade, which she brought back incense, she brought back gold, and she brought back henna trees.
I see the henna on your hand too, looking nice. Okay.
Yeah, and they were just talking about how during her reign it was just peace. And she did so much for the country, and so I never learned about a black Egyptian queen and so that really impacted me. And so I'm very happy to go back and take that knowledge back home and to have that be instilled in me. And hopefully come back very soon.
Okay. And we were just talking about that. It's ironic, the queen seemed to keep the peace. The president of Tanzania, Ethiopia, all women, and it's very peaceful out there. So it's something to that. Maybe America is slacking on. It might be time for the first female president, you know what I'm saying? And so how about you? How has the experience been for you? This your first time in Africa and Egypt?
Okay, y'all. So y'all, me and you.
And then hold on, excuse, can I sit right there just because I don't know if they can hear everything. It's getting loud in here. Okay.
So y'all, I'm gonna keep it 100. We have been here.
It's following me.
Yeah. See, it likes you. Where my mommy at?
There you go.
I have been here for a week, and this is the first time I have ever been in a place where everybody looks like me. For a whole week, I have been surrounded by almost exclusively black and brown people. Yep. For the first time, I have not felt othered. Everywhere we went, people was like, welcome home. People were like, you look like me. They knew I was American, but, they knew we're cousins.
Right.
So come on back to the motherland. You're welcome here, and you don't have to feel like a minority here. Come and hang out where you're a majority.
Exactly. Go where you're loved and appreciated and welcome,
Yes.
So did you all check out Aswan?
No. We want to go to Aswan next time. Yeah.
I want to go there too because the group that I linked up with, they went to Aswan as the first day of their Nile cruise.
Yeah.
And that's where all the Nubians are that are closer to your color, closer to my mother, my grandfather's color. All of the very melanated people are in Aswan.
Okay.
So they send me video. It's gonna be a part of the YouTube too.
Yeah.
Cause they send me footage out there.
I'm going.
And they was like, yeah, you missed out because that's where everybody was.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You gotta go?
All right.
Okay, nice meeting you.
Right.
Safe travels.
Back to the States.
Alright. And I'm gonna get your information from her, send you the video.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna end it in a second, but like I was saying, you really gotta go to Aswan to see the black Egyptians. Because that was one of my missions too, was to see the original Egyptians, not just the people who took over after the fact.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, the battery finna die. I used all my juice.
That's okay.
That's it for now. I'll check in with y'all when I get back to Cairo, man.
All right.
In a minute. Peace. That's sugar cane? Ah, okay. Cleaning up. Getting ready to make me a smoothie, man. These the brothers down the street from the hotel I'm in. It's almost midnight. It's about 11:45 at night. I was hoping they'd still be open. They got mango, avocado, orange. I think that's cantaloupe, banana. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jay Ejidin. Hard working man. So this they shop, man. They be open. They be busting out here till about midnight. Al-Samat. You see the street is pretty busy, man. Marhaban, marhaban. كيف حالك اليوم؟ الحمد لله. Show y'all the restaurant. This is one of the restaurants in the Hilton, Namaste, right next to the pool. So we just came from Namaste. See, this one of the birthday girls right here. You know what I'm saying? I was kind enough to pay for 2 meals. That's why I forgot. I just bought her food at Namaste and Breeze.
No, I needed to come up to my room. I didn't want to sit here and eat. Right, so I have to pay right now, right? Okay.
10 minutes. This is
But you could be a carry, so they don't bring it up to the room. See, I don't wait, I don't get something else because I mean, Namaste did that. You know, get your food from Namaste gonna get that before I get my food.
Okay, Esther. Wafish muskila. Can we also have lentil soup and a brownie?
So bad.
and the chocolate brownie
Yes.
Yes,
Iowa.
yes.
Min fadli.
for you. Just take away.
Iowa.
Take away.
You drop these hundreds on her, you feel me? Hey, lady. She don't appreciate this love on her birthday. Look at that, 100. I'm making it rain on her. In Egypt, 200, 300.
It's 12.
You know what I'm saying? 370.
Like 75 cents.
$370 on this meal. Am I a good man or am I a good man? You know what I'm saying? Not to mention,
Stop saying dollars, say Egyptian pounds.
hey,
Egyptian
I don't know what you're talking about.
because it's not dollars.
All I see is 100. You feel me? So, and then I just got her dinner from Namaste, from the Indian restaurant. So, you know, just ungrateful, y'all. That's okay. You know, you bless people anyway, whether they appreciate it or not. That's how you get your blessings back. So, happy birthday. I just spent probably about $1,000 on this girl.
Egyptian dollars. Egyptian dollars.
What do it?
Don't forget to
What do it matter, people?
Don't forget to mention it was Egyptian dollars.
Y'all tell me how many women out there would love for a man to take them to not one, but 2 fine dining establishments. In what, 30 minutes? We just walked out of Namaste. But it's okay, you know, I ain't tripping. So, I'm gonna go upstairs, catch the Indian food before it comes. Have fun down here. Now look at this view. Incredible. I I ain't even tripping and I broke my phone. Hello.
How do you do? Good to see you. So where are you from?
Chicago.
All of you? Even you? You're Egyptian.
That's the second time I got there.
I said you fit in.
Chicago, Egypt.
Yeah, well, yes. Outside. It's just you look more Egyptian than everybody here. That's oh well. So before we start, what would you like to drink first? That's your welcome drink, by the way. So here we have almost everything like tea, coffee, water, hibiscus juice, Coke, Sprite, 7 Up, 7 Down, whatever.
7 down.
Yeah, 7 Up, 7 Down.
Tea.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, like tea, hibiscus. All right.
It's
Hibiscus. You know what? Hibiscus.
hibiscus.
Hibiscus. Water. You want anything with?
You good?
Sir? One more water.
I'm good, thank you.
So, how about you? For hibiscus, right? Back of the you're welcome. Right, so right now I'm gonna give you first a brief idea about the papyrus plant, and then we will see how the paper was made exactly the way the ancient Egyptians did thousands of years ago. So before even thinking of making the paper, the plant itself was considered as a holy plant. That's because of three things. First thing, the plant itself was considered as the flag of the north of Egypt. You know, Egypt was completely two different kingdoms. So the papyrus was the flag of the north, the lotus flower was the flag of the south. The second reason it's the flower, which should be much bigger than this, it looks like the sun rays, and that's the symbol of Amun-Ra, the god of sun in the ancient time. The main thing is the stem. This is the only plant all over which has this triangular stem. It's not round like the others. This is exactly like one face of the pyramid. The pyramid was the symbol of eternity in ancient days, and that's why the ancient Egyptians used to worship the plant way for making the paper. To make the paper itself, first thing we do is just we decide the size. We just decide just a little small one like this. Usually the plant grows over 5 meters, but it needs two things to grow in the same time. It needs lots of water, it grows in the water actually, and in the same time, very hot weather, really hot. That's gonna be cool for the plant itself. So the plant should be even much thicker in the summertime. So then, we remove the outer green skin. This part is quite strong and it's very flexible at the same time. So the ancient Egyptians used it for making things like robes, hats, baskets, sandals. They used the whole plant for making even boats in ancient days. Someone proved that in 1969 from Norway. His name is Thor Heyerdahl. He used the papyrus for making his boat Kon-Tiki. This is the boat he could cross the Pacific Ocean with in 1969. And that boat's still perfect, intact the way it is in Norway until this moment. This is the part we use for making the paper. We divide it into slices, just like this. The slices now are so fragile in a way. It's so spongy in the same time. So it has lots of water, sugar, and also fibers inside. To make that flexible, we have to squeeze the water out by using the rolling pin. We also break the fibers inside the slices, just like this. Is it true that every woman uses this nowadays? Well, you know why, right? Of course. That's universal, by the way. That's for hitting husband if he comes late, and this is the cost of love. That's why Egyptian wife never uses this. You know why, Steph? You know why the Egyptian wife never uses the rolling pin?
Wow.
You don't know? Guess. No?
She don't cook? What kind of?
Well, she uses knives.
She dangerous
Egyptian wife
then.
never, except the husband comes twice late at home. No way. So
Okay.
once he comes late, she sends him to heaven.
Dangerous.
So now you can see that it's much flexible and stronger than before as well. And then we soak the slices in the water for 2 days to reduce the sugar. We have to change the water every day. Well, here you can see the color, it's not white anymore. Like whether it's yellowish or dark, brownish. So it's only 2 days in the water to get the light color. Here, if we left the slices longer, like 10 or 15 days in the water, it gets the dark brownish shape, which looks exactly like the wood itself. The dark paper, it's the same thing, the same quality, but it takes long time to make the paper. In the same time, it's not that easy to paint on it like the white one. The paper absorbs lots of colors. That's why it takes much time to paint on it. After the time in the water, we arrange the slices in horizontal and vertical positions between 2 pieces of carpet, just like this, or 2 pieces of cotton. The ancient Egyptians didn't use the same materials we use now, so they used animal skins in the beginning, like camel hides. Later, they used the linen as well. You can weave the slices like this. You can also flat them, but it should be horizontal and vertical. That's what makes the paper strong enough. Just like this, and so on, till we complete the whole sheet. And then we're gonna squeeze everything under this press here for 6 days. This is the only different thing, by the way. The ancient Egyptians used instead heavy stones or heavy rocks, actually. Well, during the 6 days, the slice is going to stick together naturally. That's because of the cellulose inside the fibers. That acts like a natural glue. So no chemical materials, no machines until this moment, by the way. Everything is by hand. And then we get a piece of paper exactly like this. This or the brownish paper is the same thing. You can see the paper is inside. It's strong, it's very flexible and very smooth as well. Again is the light. You can see easily the horizontal and vertical arrangement. That's what makes the paper that strong. You can use any type of colors on it, no matter what. You can use oil colors, watercolor, ink, acrylic, whatever. Well, the paper actually, which is just a paper, but we have to go back thousands of years. There was no paper before this. All they used in ancient days, there was like stone, rock, or a wall. So they didn't even write on those stuff like they used to dig their daily life, their messages, dig it. Yeah, imagine yourself if you have to dig your daily life. That's terrible.
That's a lot, man.
That's a lot of work. So those people in ancient days, they actually had to dig it for the royal people. So everything you have to do perfectly. You know, even just this tiny letter, you have to do that perfect, actually, because that's for the main heads in ancient Egypt. So, but they were thinking on the same time of making something easier. You know, like the message, especially the messages they needed to leave for the other generations to come, or the messages they want to send somewhere else. Everything had to be in a stone or rock. Moving this rock to the other side, it needs a bolt. It needs so many people to carry this. That's a lot of work. That's very hard. So the making of paper came from just a little tiny thing. Here, you know, they kept trying so many other things until they could reach to the plant itself. They used to suck this inner part inside, like sugar cane. That's right. So they actually used to suck it. They used to take the sugar out of it. So you know, it has sugar, fibers, and water. So they kept trying many methods until they could reach to the perfect method to make the paper, which lasts thousands of years, never fade, under all conditions. That's the tea. Tea for...
We have the tea.
اوكي طبعا كده واحد شيء ما هو واحد شيء غير واحد كده تمام. That's for hibiscus or no? I'll bring you one too, sir. Is that okay? All right. Okay. So let's start with this story, by the way. Like, I want you to hear the first top 2 stories, because what you're gonna see in Egypt, it's not exactly the same thing I'm going to explain to you. Like the copies we have here, it's a replica of the original ones. We have one in the British Museum. The second one is in the Louvre Museum in Paris. So this is exactly like what we have in the British Museum in London. This is the most important story, the most important message in the same time. It talks about the afterlife.
So all this African history is in the British Museum and the French Museum.
So this is the Judgment Day, the message they lift. This is one of the messages that should be in a rock, by the way. So they made it on papyrus paper. This piece of paper is still perfect, intact in the British Museum until now. painted on the same paper 3,200 years ago. That's still perfect. The Judgment Day is a message to remind the people about the afterlife. It's a Judgment Day, so they wanted people to do good, to do right during their lives. And remember, everyone will be judged. How that works, this is how the ancient Egyptians imagined this. The rules in here, when you concentrate in these rules in here, you can tell in a way or another, it's what we follow now. So the story starts from here, where you see first the deceased, he is giving the offerings to 14 jurors. They ask him what he has done during his life. They ask him around 120 questions about his lifetime. No lawyers, nobody helps. He's kneeling down, lifting his hands. He swears he didn't do nothing bad during his life, like everyone in this situation will try hard to convince the jurors that he was a good person. But he doesn't need to convince the 14 jurors. All he needs is 50 plus 1. So he needs just a majority. Here in this case, only 7 of them are raising this sign, the key of life. The 7th, they raised the key of life for him, they voted for him, they believed he says the truth, he deserves to be in heaven. But you see here, the other 7s, they didn't raise the sign because they think he lies, actually. So now it's 50-50. He talks, maybe he lies, maybe he says the truth. So when it reaches to the half, they have to make sure. That's why they send him down here. He's getting another chance down here, and that's his right, by the way. But here, no more talk. He cannot prove anything anymore. It's time to check out his heart to make sure whether he was good during his life or not. So here you see Anubis, the god of mummification and medicine in the ancient days, leading him to the balance of justice, weighing his heart against the feather of justice and truth. The feather was the symbol of goddess mind, the goddess of justice and truth. The whole figure of her is the lady with the big wings. The ancient Egyptians, you know, they used to mummificate the bodies. They used to take everything away. They didn't need wholeness inside, actually. They needed the heart. That's why they used to leave the heart inside the body. They believed whatever we do in this life goes to the heart. Whatever is good, whatever is bad, goes to the heart. Only one thing makes the heart heavy. It's the bad deeds. So if his heart was heavier than the feather of truth, that means he was guilty and he was lying at the same time. Here, this is Sobek or Amam, this is the god of punishment. In the ancient days, will punish him by eating his heart. Eating his heart, that's symbolic, by the way. It means no afterlife for him, no heaven, nowhere. He will disappear and he will never come back again to this life. It's over. In this case, the feather of truth was a little bit heavier. That's okay. Like if even the feather is just a little bit heavier, that's perfect. So what do you think if the heart and feather are even? Might happen. That's right. That's what I'm saying. If the heart and feather are even, where he actually can do nothing about it, he cannot talk, he cannot do anything. So that means he did his best as much as he can as a human being. So here he passes with Horus. Horus was the god of protection, sky and sun in ancient days. You know Horus, horoscope. So the word horoscope came from Horus. He's introducing him to his father Osiris, the god of heaven and the afterlife. He's watching everything go on the court. Behind him, 2 ladies, they assist him and they support him. Isis, his wife, the goddess of love, justice, fertility, peace, and motherhood. Her sister, Nephthys, the goddess of magic in the ancient days, they are all welcoming him to the heaven. Here, for the first time, you see the kids of Horus above the 2 flags, the lotus, love, and upper Egypt, Papyrus, peace, and lower Egypt, together are coming from the river Nile, a symbol of eternity, and that shows the unity between the upper and lower, the 2 kingdoms I told you about in the beginning. Here, the eye of Horus, the eye of protection, again is the envy and evil as well. That's why you call it like evil eye. Wings and feather, that's truth and justice. And the final thing we have here is the court recorder. This is God Thoth or Tut. This is the god of knowledge, writing, and wisdom in ancient days. He's making that same report right here, which has everything going on in the court. The story, it's written down in details in hieroglyphics that also comes with the description in English. That's number 1. Number 2 is the Egyptian calendar. This is the oldest calendar ever invented by mankind. It was found in Egypt in the Dala temple of Luxor. This was carved on the ceiling of the temple. Right now, the original is still perfect, intact in the Louvre Museum in Paris. So here you see 4 couples of Horus representing the 4 cardinal points. That's north, south, east, and west. The ladies around are 4. They are the 4 seasons of the year. The people together are 12. That's 12 months of the year. 24 hands, 24 hours of the day. Inside here, all the zodiac signs. That's even before we hear nothing about the star signs, by the way. We are talking about almost 4,400 years ago. You see Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, Lion, Cancer, whatever. That's the second famous one. This one right here, which is the last one we have, it's the marriage card, or you can tell in the same time it's the marriage anniversary. It's a special thing for sharing love. So you see here, this exists in the Egyptian Museum, and that's the cover of the jewelry box of King Tutankhamun and his wife. In the bottom here you can see Tutankhamun and his wife working together in their garden, collecting the lotus flower, the symbol of love. In the middle of the garden, you see the wife giving her husband a bunch of the lotus flower. You know, in the ancient times, they didn't have to say the word, I love you. They used to give the lotus flower instead. The lotus is the symbol of love, and it says, I love you itself by itself. She's not given one flower, she's given a bunch. So a bunch of the lotus flower means I love you a lot. So it depends how many flowers he gets. The husband here, he doesn't get the flowers from his wife immediately, just like that. No, he keeps touching the flowers, he keeps looking to her eyes for a while, and then he will hold the flowers this way. Just like this, hold the hands with the flowers and get that close to his heart using his left hand. It has to be the left hand that's closer to his heart, and that's how you say, I love you too. That's the point. Here, even on the top, you see two cartouches next to each other. Nobody concentrates on that much, but anyway, you see the cartouches, the royal shape they used for writing the kings and queens' names and hieroglyphics. If you concentrate in here, you're gonna find the name of the husband is not next to him as usual. No, it's next to her, and her is next to him. So that's the opposite. But in the same time, it says like they are always together, or always, in all the times they are actually together. We can do this in the bottom too. These are actually some of the most famous stories. Around you, you'll see many figures. Each one of them tells a story behind. They come in different sizes, they come in different colors. Each painting you see tells two numbers. In the the code number, either price in Egyptian. Here, if you like anything, you can use any currency, any card, no tax, no extra charge. The painting doesn't come like that. It comes rolled up in a very small tube, including the certificate and the description in English as well. So you can look around, enjoy your time. Thank you so much for good listening.
Okay, thank you. I have a quick question.
Oh, sure. Cool.
So does Egypt ever talk about wanting any of these things back from the museum in Britain and the museum in France?
We tried so hard many years, but nothing happened.
Not yet.
Nothing.
One day though, brother.
One day we pray for that. We pray at least that something of those famous ones, basic stories, comes to the new Egyptian museum.
Yes,
so
inshallah.
people can see it here in the States.